Unfortunately, this country is in the midst of a crime wave, to include a violent crime wave involving gun violence. Most gun crime, like most violent crime, is committed by serious repeat offenders. So I'd like to ask each of the nominees today, is a convicted felon illegally possessing a gun a serious offense? Judge Reeves, we can start with you.
It is.
Ms. Mate.
Yes, it is.
Ms. Murray.
Absolutely.
Judge Restrepo.
It is.
Judge Boom.
It is a very serious offense.
Mr. Gleason
Yes, Senator Cotton.
and Ms. Wong.
Certainly.
I'm glad that we agree that it's a serious offense, since it's the source of so much gun crime in this country, to the point that in some major cities we get gruesome death tolls every Monday morning of the violence that was committed over the weekend. So I see some of you nodding your head. I think it's happening regrettably in some of your cities. The average sentence for all federal gun crimes is barely 4 years, 4 years and 3 months to be exact. Do you believe that armed felons should face longer sentences or shorter sentences? Again, I'd like to ask everyone that question. We can start with you, Judge Reeves.
I guess it would depend on what the facts are. In sentencing, it is an individualized matter, so it just depends. I mean, because a felony in Mississippi, for example, could be writing a bad check, and if that is a felon, and it could be, that person does not have the right or permission to own a firearm in the future. But if a person who wrote a bad check, is that person necessarily a violent felony? So sentencing is such an individualized thing. I can only say that it depends on the circumstances, Mr. Senator. They may.
On the second question, I'm sorry, Senator, which?
Should sentences for armed felons be longer?
Thank you, Senator. I think it's a complex issue that judges have to decide on an individualized basis based on the statutory purposes of sentencing. If I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed as a sentencing commissioner, looking at it from the commission's perspective, to answer that question on the range of offenses that would fall within that, I would think we would need to work collaboratively together to gather data and research to inform a recommendation on that.
Ms. Murray.
Weapons offenders have the highest rate of recidivism of any set of federal offenders, and I think these are serious crimes that warrant serious sentences.
Judge Restrepo.
Senator Cotton, it's a difficult question to answer in the abstract. I think every judge has to factor in the information they're given by probation, take a look at the prior record the individual has, the circumstance of the offense. So it's a difficult question, but I understand your concerns.
Judge Boom.
Firearms offenses are some of the most egregious crimes that we see, and they must be met with equally significant consequences. The recidivism rate for firearms offenses is the highest at, I believe, 69%. Just the presence of a weapon, whether or not it's discharged or not, magnifies the risk of harm to the community. The guidelines and the 3553A factors give judges tools to adjust for those. At the end of the day, the court must individualize the sentence, so it's difficult to answer your question in a yes or a no, but certainly I follow the facts and the law in every single case in making that important decision.
Judge Gleason.
Senator, any federal felony that involves a firearm is a serious crime, period, full stop. The answer to your question is a little more complicated. I spent 10 years of my life investigating and prosecuting violent federal crimes, Cosa Nostra crimes, other gang crimes, and that category of defendant covers too much territory to answer your question categorically about whether the average sentence ought to be increased. But I get you, and without qualification, I'll tell you, those are very serious crimes.
Ms. Wong.
Senator, I understand your concerns. I prosecute violent crimes. I work with the victims of violent crimes. I care deeply about making our community safer. Consequences for gun violence should be serious, and obviously that determination in an individual case will turn on the individual facts.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Senator Coons?
Thank you.